I'm sure that's a fine parking spot. Hello, this is Safety Inspector Rob here. I've gotten another. I've received another contract, I guess you'd call it, from Fazbear Entertainment. And once more, I am taking a look at their locations to see if everything's up to code. As you might be able to glean, we're in a bit more of a. Taking a look at a bit more of the mainline locations today, as opposed to the three rural ones I took a look at yesterday. Alright, without further ado, let's begin our inspection with a outside inspection. The first thing I'll immediately notice is that there is, in fact, a parking lot, which is nice. Apparently, the first store that we're taking a look at today has been kept in the same condition it was in since 1985, including the older animatronic models. Currently, though, I am seeing no real faults with the place. Maybe say for these dumpsters that should be closed, but that's not the biggest deal. Alright, let's go inside. Okay. Oh, and already we have a violation. That is at least three counts of improper signage to employees only areas. Let me go get my notepad, hold on. Okay. So, like I said, that is 3 counts improper signage. Wow, those snacks in that vending machine look really crusty. We have some generic off-brand soda here. Let's go ahead and take a look at this first room here off to the side, which is a locker room. It's a bit dark in here. So I'm going to ding them here for improper lighting conditions. Unlike the last location, there does not appear to be any exposed wiring coming from the ceiling going onto the floor. But then again, I also don't see any benches, so that's going to be a ding for improper seating. I guess you could put that up while standing. But it's strange that this leads to the stage. I believe this is the parts and services room. And the generator room, apparently. The other locations I visited had a separate generator room. Interesting. It appears we have some spare mascots back here. Like, this older version of Fredbear. And an extremely damaged Spring Bonnie suit. That's going to be a violation for improper maintenance. And given the fact that they apparently put this thing on a hook, that means they're keeping it around and having employees wear it. They're wearing it without fixing it. I also don't see any parts bay, step ladders to the shelves, and no animatronic repair manuals. So, all of that. Actually, I don't even see any proper materials to fix anything. The only thing here I see is a head. And those spare suits, obviously. It appears we have the manager's office back here. Only thing of note is this turtle plushie on the ground. Otherwise, this is fine. Alright, looks like we're going out into the main area here. Interestingly enough, the animatronics appear to be deactivated right now. Even though this would technically be considered operating hours. Looks like someone decided to put some very bright reflective tape on Bonnie's guitar for some reason. Alrighty, we have 3 counts of improper storage. We have 2 counts improper storage of the speakers, 1 count improper storage of that CRT monitor. Then we have 2 more counts of improper storage of CRT monitors on the stage, interestingly enough. We have a supply closet back here. This is fine, though. We do have proper fire extinguishers. But even in this main area, we have about 4 counts of improper CRT monitor storage. Why they are just out here in a public-facing area where anyone could just, you know, do this. That wasn't the best example. Hold on. They could just do this. You get my point. So that's 4 violations. Let's check the kitchen. That's going to be a violation for the fact that they haven't thrown these extra water cooling barrels out yet. That's a trip and fall hazard. Freezer looks fine. We have an officially sanctioned snowman back here. Luckily, there's no animatronics in the freezers. That might just be a tradition of rural locations, though, so... Let's check the bathrooms. Seems we have some slight degradation in this room here. It's not enough to constitute a violation. I think they may just need to renovate the room. The animatronics that are actually performing appear to be in very good condition, especially for ones that have been here since 1985. I don't know how long these animatronics will be up on stage, though, given that I'm pretty sure Fazbear Entertainment has stopped making parts for these guys. So, once they eventually run out of their spare parts, and these things start breaking down, they're eventually going to have to decommission them. Going down this hallway here, we come to the first of a few private party rooms. Nothing much of note. In here, we actually have what appears to be a secondary stage. This might have actually been for the older Fredbear and Spring Bonnie models we saw in the back. But it looks as though that given those two are in the back and Spring Bonnie is in horrible condition, I'm imagining that they're probably going to turn this into a private party room and just get rid of the stage. We have another supply closet here. Oh, and I guess it's not the only It's not only the rural locations that have this problem, but it's also the mainline ones too. In this staff-only hallway, I'm seeing a lot of exposed wiring, and that's going to be a violation, as well as 2 counts of improper CRT monitor storage. We do have a properly labeled security room, though. In the office, we have more exposed wiring and more. We have 3 counts of improper CRT monitor storage. More counts of improper monitor storage and exposed wiring here, though. I'm going to stop dinging them on that, though. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm being a lot more critical with these locations than I would be with the rural ones, because these are a lot more popular than the rural ones, for obvious reasons. Oh, I didn't even notice this, but these staff-only corridors here completely lack employees-only signage. So that's 2 more violations, as well as missing employees-only sign in this secondary stage room. No, actually, 2 counts of that. Another count of that in the main party room, and another count of that in the bathroom hallway. You guys really got to work on your signage. Even the rural locations have the signage. We're getting into the arcade now. This one appears to be a lot more filled out than the other one. We have a ball pit. Proper employees only signage here. Interestingly, we have a mix of 1987, 1983, and 1993 arcade machines in here. I'm not actually seeing any arcade machines from 85, however. So... Oh, actually, no, here they are. They're just not the branded ones. I'm imagining those probably broke down over the years, though, so that makes sense. In this employees-only area here, this just leads over to the surprisingly tall counter. Price counter, so that's fine. Alright, I didn't really take a good in-depth look at the employees-only area, so let's go do that. We're gonna start with this door here. We have 2 counts of improperly stored tools here. But that's fine, that's not in the walkway. Therefore, those tools aren't really going to be harming anyone. Looks like we got a basement entrance here. Proper fire instruction manual on the wall. A trolley here. Oh, but that's going to be a ding for improperly stored tools here. Look at that, there's a handsaw on the floor. This looks like it fell off of the ladder, and the ladder itself isn't even stored properly. Neither is this. Okay, it seems we have a computer that's actively turned on. This really crusty chair and an unsecured power drill on the thing here. We have even more safety signs here on the walls. Security monitoring station. An elevator? Let's see, this room. Interesting. So it just leads into there again. If we go down into these lower levels, looks like this is just some storage. Oh, but we got a lot of counts here of improperly stored barrels. These 2 are especially egregious, as you can see here. These are trip and fall hazards. if I were to run down the stairs, I'd flip and fall over the barrel. Same with this here. This cash register here. Jesus, I can't speak today. These boxes and barrels over here. So once again, that's even more of a trip and fall hazard. Okay. I completely missed this staircase. But once more, it has yet another trip and fall hazard for those barrels there. Come on, guys. Also, I'm noticing that these staircases that lead down into these storage areas lack ADA-compliant wheelchair ramps. And, I mean, I guess proper hand railing as well. Okay, we have an elevator here. Where's this go? Okay. Okay, we have exposed wiring as a hazard down here. Also, the paper balls are a trip and fall hazard. Those barrels, that is a trip and fall hazard. These absurdly sized vents are interesting. Let's check one of them out. These storage areas. Look at that, that's even more of a trip and fall hazard with that tipped over shelf. It's interesting that these storage rooms are connected via these overly sized vents and then no way to get in there. So not only is that not ADA compliant, but that's also just stupid that we don't actually have a proper way down there. Whoa. Okay. Although this is minor, I'm not seeing any hand railing on this walkway here. That's a violation. Ooh. That extremely rusted out water pipe there. Once again, no ADA compliant wheelchair ramp. More of these rusty pipes. Once again, no proper hand railing or ADA compliant wheelchair ramp. Alright. Okay, so that was our first Fazbear's location with today's entry. Once again, this is one of the more mainline locations, so I was a bit more critical with it than I may have been. So, in total, this location receives 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. 57 violations on our first location visit. That's not good. In fact, that is actually more than the cumulative total of my previous entry, which had 46 violations across 3 locations. This mainland location alone has 57 violations of safety. Alright, we're here at our next location. And I've actually been provided the history of this one, so... Let me just get out my things. So, like I said previously, I was actually provided the history of this location. It opened in early 1985 as, well, just an expansion of the company, I suppose. And at one point, it did use the 1985 model of animatronics, known as the original series. In late 1986 and early 1987, that series was then replaced with the toy series of animatronics, which, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately for this location, but eventually, those animatronics kind of... The animatronics here were originally the original animatronics, right? I'm saying original a lot. Let me rephrase this. When this location first opened, the original animatronics, the original series of them anyway, were the performers at this location. In early 1986, when the toy series of animatronics came out, the originals were scrapped in favor of these guys, of the toy animatronics. They were decommissioned earlier than the other original animatronics. However, just because these toy animatronics are newer, doesn't mean that they won't have the does not mean that they won't have the same longevity problems as the others. As we've already established, Fazbear Entertainment has stopped making parts. Entirely stopped making parts for these guys. And I forgot to pose them. Hold on. Has entirely stopped making parts for these guys. So, that means, at some point eventually, these two are going to break down, and their reserve of spare parts is going to eventually deplete, meaning they're going to have to scrap these guys, or decommission them, because they'll no longer be able to maintain them. They'll probably be replaced by the classics, as that is the most recent series of animatronics that Fazbear Entertainment still, as of 2026, makes parts for, which is interesting. To give you some more exposition, I suppose, the classics came out in 1989 and replaced any location that had the toy animatronics. Which is why the locations that I've surveyed so far today are just so unique. Because they still have these older models of animatronics that should have been replaced. With that out of the way, let's survey the outside of the location. Well, that's interesting. This town appears to have a giant red brick thing. What the fuck is that? Okay. Anyway. Okay, some track areas. That's fine. Alright, so the exterior of the location looks perfectly fine. Let's go inside. And as you can see once more, we are already running into the issue we ran into in the last location, which is that these two rooms right here, these two employees-only rooms right here, are not labeled as employees-only rooms. So that's 2 violations of improper signage already, and my pencil just fell down. Okay. The storage unit here. Okay. Off the cuff here. I already have quite a few violations to cover. For one, I'm kind of surprised that ever since 1986, they've kept around these older models. I would have thought that these things would have been transferred to a landfill by this point. Secondly, these animatronics are not being stored properly. Especially with Freddy. These are directly obstructing the walkway. So I'm going to put a violation down for obstructed walkways, and another violation for improper animatronics storage. Once again, company policy dictates that older animatronics that are no longer being used should be moved to a landfill and or a properly marked storage unit for just the animatronics alone. We have some spare heads for the toys. That's fine. I am seeing a lot of exposed wiring, so that's going to be another violation. Would you look at that? This is a authentic Save Them arcade machine. These things were recalled in the middle of in the summer of 1987. The creator, Frank something rather, I forgot his last name, made these games a bit too inappropriate for children, mainly just violent topics. So they were, all of them were recalled. Apparently this one just ended up in the storage room of the location. Also, I'm not going to ding them for improper workstations here. This is marked storage room. This is not a parts and services room. So that means the lack of work bays and the lack of tool bays and what was it? Where was the other one? Tool bays and repair manuals. Jesus, my brain just had a brain fart moment there. Trying to remember that. This appears to be the manager's office. Interestingly enough, the manager has a poster of the 1993 Classic series of animatronics here. And two more of them here. That's not a violation, so we're good here. I got the bathrooms here. That's fine. This appears to be the main party area. Some more rules for safety. Yeah, but here are the toy series of animatronics on the stage here. Actually, these are very well maintained for being introduced in late 1996. Or sorry, late 1986. Fuck me. They even have a functioning Toy Foxy animatronic. Now that's interesting. These things came with a manufacturing defect, which caused them to fall apart very easily. So either they've done an extraordinary job of maintaining one of the original models, or they got one of the revised models in 1987, the ones that didn't just fall apart. What's this room? That's the kitchen. Alright, so immediately, that's going to be 2 counts of improper signage in the main party area. That leads to employees-only areas. Can't have that. I didn't survey the kitchen. Hold on. This location appears to be bigger than the last one, kinda. Good news is I'm not seeing a lot of trip and fall hazards so far. It seems that they've gotten their storage of CRT monitors in public areas down, so that's good. That leads to an employees-only hallway. Oh, we have a properly marked security office down there. That's good. These are the private party rooms, I believe. Oh, I spoke too soon. We have improperly stored CRT monitors and the trip and fall hazards of paper. Now, paper is actually a secret enemy. You might say that that's not a trip and fall hazard, but kids run really fast. And if they run fast enough, they could, in theory, trip... fuck. Hold on. Kids could trip and fall on the paper. You get my point. Anyway. We have a wet floor sign here for a floor that appears to not be wet. Now that's another trip and fall hazard right there. We have the second set of private party rooms over here. Another trip and fall hazard with the paper. Jesus, guys. And another one! So, have they just not bothered to take care of this at all? Oh, looks like we have, in the security office, several trip and fall hazards with these boxes and CRT monitors. We've got a bin here. What is this? We've got some fucking off-brand Freddy head back there. That's a back storage area. What's over here? What's over here is an employees only hallway with, apparently minor anomalous safety hazards with the disappearing shelves and a bunch of other crap. We also have a trip and fall hazard for these arcade machines. And improperly stored buckets of paint. Okay. Oh, I didn't even catch that the first time. This is a manhole-sized vent without its cover. That's a violation. We have a properly marked exit area. We have a bunch of, I believe, improperly stored heads here. They're not on the shelves. And what the fuck? What's going on here? It seems we have a bunch of, anomalous shadows here. Anyway. These heads, although improperly stored, are very telling of the state of this place. As you can see, we have more toy heads in these boxes. Yeah. Some of these are empty, some of these are... But, once more, this is very telling. Some of these are replacement heads for the 1993, the, classic series of animatronics, which came out in 1989 and replaced the toys. We do have toy animatronic heads here, but this implies to me, the classic heads being here, this implies to me that they are probably ready to start decommissioning the toy animatronics, so I don't know how long the toys are going to remain up. That's an interesting newspaper clipping. Kids vanish at local pizzeria. Bodies not found. 2 local children were reportedly lured into a back room during a blank and led to his... It doesn't make any sense. Okay, I think someone made a typo on that thing there. But that's a newspaper clipping from 1985. I believe that's the that's kind of why toy... No. Improv is hard. Okay, so there was an incident where 5 children disappeared at a Freddy's location. I say disappeared. It turns out they'd accidentally gotten locked inside of the building after hours. Police found them the next day anyway. One of them, I think his name was like Fritz or something, he got hurt by one of the Foxy animatronics, which led to the decommissioning of said animatronics. If you're wondering which location I'm talking about, it's actually the one that I'm surveying right now. That's when that incident happened in this location, and that's why the those animatronics were decommissioned earlier than they got decommissioned later. Is this a car repair bay? What business does this have be? Whoa, Jesus Christ. Seems we have a faulty light in here. That's a violation. And that same manhole-sized vent thing. This staircase lacks railing and an ADA-compliant wheelchair ramp. Okay. So back out here, let's go. Is this the generator room? Because there's a generator back here, but it doesn't look like it's connected to anything. Already we have the improper storage of a ladder. You're not supposed to just have it leaned up against the wall like that. I love Black Mesa. Okay. I think this is just a joke from the employees. Okay. And we do have a proper fire exit. Nice. Nice. Okay, that covers that. But I think that's actually it for the location. I'm not seeing a lot of other stuff here, so yeah, that's it. That's it for this location. Anyway, everything I just told you back there was informed to me by corporate for some reason. And I did get sidetracked there, but anyway, the count for this location is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. 27 violations this time. Alright, let's head to the final location on our itinerary today. By the way, the one I just surveyed is the second location. We went through the first one. So far, our count is, first location had a total of, what was it? 57 violations. This location has 27. Let's go see what the final location has. Fuck. Alright, this is our final location here today. This one uses the classic models, if I remember right. Yeah, anyway. Once more, this is our final location on the itinerary today, so let's not waste any time, just get into the inspection. I've come here after closing. Alright, so we have some graffiti on the side. We do have a trip and fall hazard immediately with this dumpster being tipped over. That's fine. We have improper waste storage right here with these trash bags. Oh, there's even dumpsters right there. Another trip and fall hazard with those pallets just out in the open. Even more improper waste storage right here. Even more improper waste storage right here. And there's some overgrowth here. And even more improper waste storage. Jesus, guys. There's some wall damage there, but that's not a concern, really. Alright, we have the little entryway here. Immediately, we have the improper storage of a speaker out in the open. We do have ourselves an evacuation plan with all the fire exits here. So it's good that they have that. This appears to be the manager's office. We have a trip and fall hazard with these papers on the floor. Okay, actually going into the location. You can see the classic animatronics here. Once more, I have come after closing, so... I mean, these are properly marked stuff here. But the kitchen is not marked with employees only, which is interesting. This looks fine. Loading bay here. It's fine. I think I'm noticing some blood around this employees only door in the bathroom hallway. We'll check that out after we go into the bathrooms. We have some piss troughs. And we have another slip and fall hazard for paper. Actually going into here. Oh, more blood and... oh! It would appear as though someone has gotten springlocked. There was a reason Fazbear Entertainment recalled these suits. They're extremely dangerous. I'm not sure why one was being kept in this location specifically. That itself counts as a violation. But it's also probably a good thing I found this so I can report it to management so they can get this all taken care of. I usually try finding stuff before OSHA finds stuff. It seems that this store's Foxy is out of order. I'm interested why no one has bothered to fix him yet. Seems we have some exposed wiring out here. That's a violation. This is our parts and services room here. Some exposed wiring here. That's a violation. And also the improper storage of... Huh. I've never seen this variation of classic Freddy before. It seems like they were trying to make Fredbear at one point. Whatever. It's still not following company policy to store it like that, though. These floors are extremely grimy back here. This is also the power room, I think. You have your fire exit here, as is the map. We have the improper storage of a speaker in the main area. This appears to just be a storage room. Very cramped storage room. There's a trip and fall hazard here for these chairs. For this tipped over chair, I mean. And for this exposed paper. Some exposed wiring on the walls here, that's a violation. We already went through the kitchen. Okay. Going into this hallway here, we do have improper storage of CRT monitors. That also counts as a trip and fall hazard. What also counts as a trip and fall hazard is the exposed wiring on the ground. I'll give them another ding for just the exposed wiring itself. We have the security office here. Functioning camera system. Huh. Seems like these lights need to be fixed. They're flickering. That's going to be a violation. There's also no hazard striping around the security door here. So, yeah. This other hallway is not much better. Same violation for exposed CRT monitoring. It's exposed CRT monitoring? Jesus, I can't speak today. No, for just the CRT monitors. More cables that can cause a slip and fall hazard. Supply closet looks fine. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's the entire location. Yeah. There's apparently a water plant here, too. I did not see that. Let's go try to find ourselves the water plant. Oh, here it is. I'm going to give them a violation for exposed wiring back here. That can't be a thing. Also, the way that those barrels are stored is not good. It's another violation. Oh, you have some extremely rusty piping. That's a very, very big no-no for water. You cannot have, exposed... I keep saying exposed. You cannot have rusty piping. Alright, so... in summary, the violations of this location are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. 26 violations for this location. That is exactly one less than the other one that just to look at, and let me calculate this. Our total violations for today's round of safety inspections . Let me just calculate these. Hold on. Alright. Jesus Christ. Okay, so with this, the cumulative total of today's safety violations across all three of these locations is 110 violations. Holy shit. What makes that even more concerning is the fact that these are mainline locations, right? They are more popular than the rural ones we took a look at yet in the previous entry. Which makes this very, very concerning. With that said, this is Rob, and I'm going to go report this to management.